Hey everyone, welcome to Camppatton Family Compound, and we welcome you to another exciting episode of Friday Night on the Homestead. Tonight, our topic is recycling odd things for useful purposes. And how's everybody doing out there? All righty, well, let's jump in here and see who all snuck in here. Let me go back up to the top here. All right, first one in was Blissful Acres Off-Grid Homestead, followed by Howie at Food Forest Permaculture. Then CR, check your email. How to Garden came in, then Tibor. Troop 1351. They're lurking with pen and paper, and everybody should have pen and paper on this one tonight. I'm going to give you lots of ideas. And everyone's chatting back and forth. Kaylin Strain's now in the house. And okay, so we got several people lurking. That's fine. At least say hi. That helps out. Q is in the house here. And there's the first question for CR, just as he pops up. Q wants to know if you're eating. He's all, for some reason, I guess, whenever she's in the chat, he pops up eating or something. And, Anyway, so, yeah. Wow. Today's been a busy day. If those of you didn't see it, I've put out a couple of videos today. There's another one coming out in 3 hours and 10 minutes. I got it on a timer. It's going to go out at 12:45 Mountain Time. And I got several others I've been editing all day long, ready to go out. Got a bunch of stuff I've been doing. And so catching up on giving you guys fresh content. CR dropped out. I guess I didn't see his mic connecting. So, and Kaylin says that her reviews makes him hungry too. Grammy Karen's in the house. King Poopa throwing up the recyclable emblems. All right. So, hopefully CR will be able to get back in here and be able to talk and stuff, because ever since I've known him, he's always been making neat stuff out of old throwaway stuff. And before I even get started on the slideshow, I'm going to jump over to one of the things that he likes working with. Little metal tins. This is a little bit thicker than the normal ones. This is a Sucret's one. Looks like he's back here. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Sorry. All right. But these aren't old fashioned or new. They're thicker than the Altoid ones, so you can pack more stuff.
I love that tin.
Yeah, you can pack more stuff into it. And let me check one thing here. Let's see. Let me see if I can. There we go. Give me a count there, CR.
3, 2.
Okay,
1.
You're louder now. I adjusted you on my side. All right. Yeah, and I guarantee you CR is going to talk about these, but let's hop over.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course.
He's going to scrounge and pull out about 20 or 30 of them there, different ones he's filled out: fishing tackle, first aid kits, fire starters. All right. So let's go over to here to this. Now, this was already this way on the web, so I couldn't break it down easy. But upper left here, they took some of those old-fashioned ceramic coated mugs and made a little, knick-knack holder there for them of different things. Someone made a clock out of looks like kids like a Barbie doll tea set type thing. They took next one over, they took a cutting board and routed out and put mounted a Kindle or a tablet into the cutting board.
Ooh.
Yeah. Over here on the far right top, you have a bunch of wine bottles, and they got they took the lamp cord and a lamp head and put light bulbs in it, and then pulled it back up through it and wired it up above. So basically, you got a wine bottle chandelier.
Ooh.
I haven't. Oh, that looks like rolling pins. Okay, so they down here on the bottom left, they took some rolling pins, cut them in half, and mounted them to a board to hang towels and aprons and stuff on. And then, of course, the next one over there, second one from the left, is something similar to what Bob's doing. Bob will probably get some more ideas. Now, Bob's been taking the ceramic bowls and stuff and using a special bit and drilling holes in them and turning them into little planters for his plants. Now, what you can't see on the next one over here where you got the flowers and stuff, they took some big soup spoons and they bent them and drilled holes in them and mounted them to the wall. And where the soup spoon is bent up, it's holding hanging planters, those hanging pot things. And then I'm not sure what they were doing here with the ladle spoons over here on the far right, but they got them mounted to boards, and I'm not sure what they're doing with them. But decorative, looks neat. So let's go on here. And this, like I said, Bob's been doing this type of stuff. He's been buying bowls and stuff, and you get into at the thrift store and every place else. Okay, David's Mule Train Homestead is in the house. Hey, David, haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you back.
Hello, everyone.
And but yeah, I expect to see more stuff like this from Bob this summer as he starts to find more of the stuff and do more potted plants like this in the house and outside the house. This one I thought was kind of funny. I have my daughter save the kids' boots because the boys are growing up so fast and they're going through the different boots, and she's already gotten rid of a bunch of them, and it's like, no, save them all now, and you make them for little hanging planters, or just set them down along the patio there with plants in them. This one I thought was kind of neat. They took an old painter's ladder, cut it in half, and put some gusset on it, and so make a corner bend there. And what you can't see here, you can barely see it over on the right. If you can see my cursor moving, that's one of those metal L brackets that has two holes in it, and they use that to hold up this ladder bookshelf. This one just made me.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they got hold of an old case for a piano, and I'm not sure what all they did inside of it, but they did set it up with a water pump and had a waterfall coming out around the keys. And then they have their plants and pots inside there as well. We got hold of an old piano like that, and we turned it into a haunted piano for a haunted house. It rocked, it moved, the lid bounced, the over the keys, the thing opened and closed. We had fun with that one. Hold on. What's he saying?
I just read that.
To figure out how to carve a box find into something useful.
Yeah, I just read that one.
Well, Dustin, you can take the box and get some lacquer and stuff, and just start painting it to make it nice and hard, and turn it on its side, make a little, cubby. All right. And Tibor's firing off here. Gourds make people make bird houses for finches and other small birds. Let's see what else we got. Teapots also make cool bird houses. And Kaylin said you could put keys or pocket change in those mounted ladles. Going back to what was on the first page. Thank you. All right, now, next one here. I had to put this one up here. I'm sorry. For years, people have talked about using toilets as, planter pots. And this one, they took it to the extreme. They took broken plates and stuff and other ceramics and glued it onto the toilets and then made pots out of them. Now, not to be wasteful, they did something else as well. They took the tanks and made the tanks into planters. And let's see what else we got here. All right. This was a good use of old milk crates. You take 8 of them and you can make yourself a little cubby thing here underneath a chopping block table. Or you take them and this gets a little hard though. You got to put screws through them on the corners to hold them together. Because if you look at all this yarn here, this isn't a bunch of, there's only half as many crates up there as you think. Because like the one here where the white is here, there's no crate there. The crate's on all 4 sides around it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, that I thought was pretty cool. Now, one thing we're using the crates for, nesting boxes for the chickens. All we got to do is put a 1x4 across the front of them, to keep all the nesting material from falling out of the crate. All right, what else we got here? Cans. There's a lot you can do with cans. Mm-hmm, and here they took some old sheet music and wrapped it around the cans and then glued them all together. On the left here, and they painted a bunch of cans, and these look like the green ones here. To me, look like, because the way the top is, it almost looks like it's quart paint cans that they peeled the paper off and painted, the old metal quart paint cans. Mm-hmm. But then you can also I was trying to find that, because a lot of preppers and homesteaders that buy bulk in the number 10 cans, the big cans, mm-hmm. Those would be great if you, like out in the shop or the garage or something, you put them on the wall and just put a couple screws in through them with the big flat heads on there to hold it up there. And you can toss all sorts of stuff up in there, screwdrivers, wrenches, all sorts of stuff up there. Mm-hmm. This is really cool.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they took drills. They drilled holes in different size cans. And this one, it looks like they put lights in them. But I've seen them where they've took like a tuna can and made a multi-wick candle out of it and stuck it down inside of one of these other ones. So you get the flickering flame the flickering flames making the light through the holes dance on the walls and stuff. Really cool. Hey, Suburban Hillbilly. No notification yet? Oh, man. I'm going to put it up here.
I knew it.
The box liners from Dunkin' Donuts for water. Well, actually, all right. from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not sure about Dunkin' Donuts, but like Krispy Kreme's has the 5-gallon buckets full of their frosting stuff, the different flavored frostings and stuff. Hey, you can recycle those for a lot of things, including non-potable water storage.
Mm. Yo, is that a rectangle shape? I'm trying, or is it tapered?
What?
That container you're talking about.
Oh, all right. It depends which store you go to. Some bakeries, they're round. Sometimes they're 5 gallons, 7 gallons, and 10-gallon buckets. Sometimes they're square or rectangular. Sometimes they're, believe it or not, it's like a 7-gallon plastic jug with a big old 2-inch. They screw it off and they just pour everything out of it.
Mm.
So, which that in itself lends it to be water storage once you get it clean.
Mm.
There you go. What to do with your old Levi's when they don't fit anymore?
Well, that's something.
Yeah. Yeah, either they tie off down at the ankles, or they just sew across. Get one of those sewing awls from Harbor Freight that has for doing heavy canvas, like for sails and stuff, and they sew it shut. And let's see what else we got here. This I thought was kind of interesting. Taking tuna cans and in your desk drawer, so you keep everything from getting all mixed up. But I think something's even better if you take. But you lose a lot of space there because they're round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about
Stacking?
Spam cans.
Oh, okay.
Because they're pretty much rectangular. Yeah, they're a little rounded on the edge, but you
Oh yeah, that'd be great for this.
Yeah. And even taking the tins and just popping the lid off, so you just have the tin itself. And
if you have enough of them.
Huh?
If you have enough of them. Well, there's something else you could do with like those round ones. You can actually stack them. There's supposed to be a way where you put like a straw in on the edge and just connect them so they stack, and then you can turn them, open it up. Like you would see it for like jewelry or something like that, but you could use it in the same way for this.
Right. You just made me think, because the tuna cans nowadays, the bottom is been kneeled in, so they'll stack. And once you use the do the top, and you could either hot glue these together and make a tray, and you could stack another one on top of it. Or you could, if you're like Bob, you'd get out the soldering iron and just kind of solder them together. Hey, Bob, I sent you the link. Check your email.
Hello, Bob.
Okay, I got to answer this. Tibor, if the wife can no longer squeeze into them, and she wants to use it for that, I'm not going to say no.
Well, you can always reuse it even after the fact. After the season's done, use it as a rags, then make char cloth. You got like
you make char cloth and everything else out of it. Yeah,
well, right after it's like falling apart, or you don't use it for the season. So,
yeah. All right, and so I got another one after this. Yes, and now we're getting to the tins. Yeah, tins. And everyone talks about using Altoid tins.
I still don't have an Altoid. I still don't have one.
You still don't have one?
I don't have an Altoid tin. I have Surrett's tins.
Yeah. We used to have a ton of Altoid tins. I think my wife still does, and she has sewing stuff in it. Like she'll have her big thing, and she has the tins with different types of thread, different colors of threads. She have the blues, the reds, the greens, the oranges, and she just pulls it out, pops it out. Just I know she puts the little bobbins that go inside the sewing machine after you put the thread on it. She keeps a bunch of those in it so she doesn't lose them.
Oh, the metal ones, right?
Yeah, the little metal ones that go inside. Yeah.
Mm.
And so, But the one here, it's got a little compass in it, and the if you can see my cursor moving, that there says aqua iodine. So it's a water purifier, some water purification stuff. And they got some weights here, little shot weights for fishing lines, and some hooks in that one with the red cap on it here. 50 feet of 20-pound test. They got the cotton fire starters there. What you can't see underneath the paracord here, where the compass is in the middle, around it is a cable saw rolled up around it. And I'm not sure what this one on the far left there is. That might be a magnifying glass in there. Not sure. But using the tins, you can put a lot of stuff in tins. And I think that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. And there's Bob.
Hey,
hello,
Bob.
everyone. Hello.
You missed it, Bob.
Oh, I missed a lot.
I'm going to have to go back to it. All right, here's one you can do out in your backyard. You ready for it?
Go ahead. Yeah. Big bottom blue jeans. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the other one here, let's get back to the beginning. Oh, here's two more you can do if the mistress will let you do it. Toilet tanks, the back off the back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what they did is they started putting other ceramics onto toilets.
It's a good idea.
So it's not plain white.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Boots. There you go. A teapot, a mug, and some other ones.
Done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first one after the slide, in honor of you.
Hi, Grammy. Okay. Yeah, I am the grand master of recycle, repurpose. Bow before me and my greatness.
And I'm learning from Bob.
Yes, my young Jedi.
And Gunslinger Outdoors, how you doing? Only 100? Wow, I thought they had more uses than that. What's funny is one of the there's one that's even thinner than who had gum in it, like a single layer of gum. I can't remember what it was, but one of the guys at work, he had it in his back pocket, and someone goes, "Oh, what do you got? Square chew?" And he goes, "No." He whipped it out. He goes, "I got my condoms for after work."
That's a good thing.
Well, that's one way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this guy was a hound dog.
I've never heard of anyone like that in my life.
Oh, me too.
Mm-hmm. Not in the military at all?
No.
And Bob's making noise with something he's recycled.
I have, yeah.
Are you making noise? Music again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I repurposed this little brass vase I bought in a secondhand store. I cut it off on a bandsaw, then I put it on the lathe and cleaned up the edges and used medium sandpaper to clean up the outside and bring it down to the sound that I like. Then center drilled, put a bolt through it and a handle, and this makes a singing bowl.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a bell.
Well, it's kind of a bell now.
Yeah, I thought you were making a bell.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got a bunch
same thing.
Yeah, this is bought just a $3 item out of a secondhand store and made it into a singing bowl. I'm gonna try to make a device to hold all of these in line and make them kind of like play them like gamelan.
Yeah, Kaylin, that's what this is. This is cigarettes. Sore throat, cough, and dry mouth.
Mm-hmm. I got those tins.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things I could show. Repurpose different things.
My uncle used to take electrical conduit and water and copper water pipe and cut it to a length. They drill a hole in the top, like a 16th-inch hole, put fishing line through it to hang it up to make wind chimes. But then you hit it and And at first he spent a lot of time measuring to get what tones he wanted, how long the pipe had to be.
Yeah.
And then once he had the measurements, then he just started cutting them and making them quick.
Yep. Here's something that I repurposed is I ordered these little bells off Amazon, and this is a drawer pull from a kitchen drawer.
Cool.
I used a fastener provided, made these into little rhythm instruments. Yeah, but for gardening stuff, yeah. Here we go. I took apart a power strip where you plug in a multiple items because it failed.
Right.
But inside of it is this brass row of connections. And I've got some large flower pots over there for growing peas and beans in them. I'll double this up, make it into a loop, so it will pull up tight against the lip on the bottom of my flower pot.
Right.
And use jump rings and hooks that I could make out of electric fence wire. I mean, electric fence wire, you can do a billion different things with it. Aluminum wire. And then use it to locate string to go up to one center point in the center.
Cool.
Use this as an anchor, and then a center point. This is something else I'm going to use in the garden is rhododendron trimmings. I'll use this if I can manage to support my peas and beans in the flower pot.
Cool.
I peeled all the bark off of it, and I'll figure out a way to anchor it and then have cordage coming from the anchor here up to the tops of these right here, so that the peas and beans can follow the string. I'm just going to use some cotton string, just regular stuff, and have them follow it up. But, I make these jump rings out of aluminum electric fence wire. You get it at Tractor Supply, and that'll be a method of anchoring this to the bottom of the pot.
Cool.
So, it's brass, so you can spill water on it and it'll last for years and years and years. It won't rust and come apart. So that's just a twisted mind that never stops.
I love how you think. I love how you think, Bob.
Yep, just a twisted mind.
And of course the tools help. And of course,
you got to have tools. Yeah, that's I think being in preparedness, you've got to have tools. You've got to. That's where you start. Where you begin is tools.
Yeah.
Start from there, and as years go on, you can gather more tools for different projects, and pretty soon, your abilities grow with your tools. Tools are the most important part of being prepared.
Yeah.
And being able to work with the materials. Not just in terms of fabrication with metals, but everything, wood, paper, all that stuff. Wood. I mean, paints too, right? I mean, being able to cut those ceramics and stuff like that without cracking them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get what you want out of it at the end. Be like, see, I can make a hole through this thing.
Right. Those drill bits I ordered off Amazon that are just for ceramics and glass. There's your tools right there, and that saved me a ton of money. I priced little flower pots, etc. Man, that stuff's expensive. I can buy something from a secondhand store that was made for serving soup or whatever. Drill a drain hole in it, and it cost me $2 or $3 compared to $8. Now, if you get 20 pots, you do the math. You're saving yourself a ton of money just by having the tools that are necessary. Yeah.
And if you contact like a plumber or something and ask to get the old toilets he pulls out, there's a bunch more pots right there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. You could use almost anything. An old stainless steel sink if you want to. Yeah. But
Yeah.
gathering tools is the first part, the very first part.
One of the things my dad did, because he kept on buying new, toolbox, or tool chest, with all the drawers in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And to try to keep his bits and his cutting tips and the drill bits and the the one where you go, it's not a drill press, but it goes in and it goes across the milling machine bits.
Mm-hmm.
He picked up a bunch of old hardwood from an old, I guess it was an old dresser or whatever, and just it was falling apart. He took that, cut it the size of the drawer, and then took the router and routed divots in it to lay the tools in there. So they were laying on wood, not on the metal, and they weren't bumping into each other.
Yeah, because they'll dull.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
then
scruffy old dude, that's me, but Barry in the side chat. I'm gonna sick your cats on you tonight, Barry. She's gonna poop on your pillow before you go to bed.
The other thing you did, like for the small bits, like you had for your those ceramic cutting ones, when he got a Dremel of all those small little bits and stuff, he took like a piece of a 1x4, some hard white pine, and he drilled the holes to put all of those in where they would stand up. And then he spent hours one night with his bifocals and the extra big magnifiers on and a real fine paintbrush, and he painted the size of the bits on the wood.
Yeah.
And so he had he had the fractions, then he had the alphabet ones, then he had the numbered ones, 1, 2, 3, like that, and he had all of those. And then he had a set of punches. Basically, it was like a center punch, but it was all the different sizes. So you stick it down in the hole and you wrap it on the piece below it, so you know exactly where to drill the hole to bolt stuff together. And he made a wooden case for those as well. He picked those up at a flea market. The guy had them rolled up in a leather thing, and he made a box for it out of the old hardwood that he picked up for free that someone was throwing out a dresser for.
Yeah, I've reused an old dresser before. I actually made a shelf from the doors. It's kind of cool.
Oh, there was one picture I didn't put in the slideshow, but just made me think about it again. Someone had gotten a bunch of old suitcases from the thrift store or whatever. They had pictures. They made a shelf unit and had the suitcases as the drawers.
Oh, okay. I could see it.
So they're like the ones that had the zipper on the front side of it. Well, he took that piece off and just so you just pull it out, and he had a drawer of his socks, underwear, whatever he had in there, and it was just made from old suitcases.
Was the pull handle actually the pull handle from the suitcase?
Yeah, the one on the side, not the one on the top, the one on the side.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It'd be different.
This is another thing for the garden. I bought a bunch of ladies' headscarves. Some of them are from India. They're very fine threads.
Right.
And I made them into wind streamers and all that, and I'm remodifying all that stuff. But I pull the threads out of them when I'm sitting here watching a movie late at night, and here's all the threads that I pull out of them. This is a regular toilet paper tube. This is to get birds to nest in your area to eat the bugs in your garden. This works. I've used this before. And put a stick through it so that the little mama and daddy birds can land on a stick, and then pull these threads out and use it for nest building material.
Yeah.
Recycled, repurposed old scarves and a toilet paper tube, and bada boom, bada bang. Get the birds to come around your area and hang out. Hopefully they'll lay a bunch of eggs and hang out in the garden, Eat the bugs. That's the thing. I want them to eat the bugs.
Yeah.
There we go.
The other thing is we've used those both the toilet paper and paper towel tubes for. Mm-hmm. We'll take them and put some glue on it, glue two of them together, and hand them to the grandkids. I got binoculars! And they run around the house like this, What's so funny is they'll be like this, be walking along, they'll trip over something, fall down, get up, and just laughing their heads off and put them back up and start walking around.
Good thinking, Kaylin. Yeah, shelves for plants. Oh, that's very good thinking. Very good thinking. Yeah, smart. Heck yeah. Almost any container will work. Nearly any container, especially for flowers. If that's what I'm going to be growing a lot this first year is flowers. A lot of them.
Yeah, those old metal Band-Aid boxes were fantastic.
Yeah, they made them into plastic now or cardboard now.
Yeah. Cardboard. You can't mount them on the wall or just stack them up on the thing. Mm-hmm. And that was the big thing when I was growing up. And about once a year in Popular Science, there was an article of taking the baby food jars and making a thing to put all your screws on.
Mm-hmm. That's all the threading that I pulled apart from those scarves, But yeah, dryer lint, I got a bunch of it sitting over there, and I figure if I can come up with a system of making these into little cups and fasten them to a stick or something and just fill up these little cups with dryer lint so they can go in there and they'd be attracted to this bright colored thread and dryer lint. And I'm going to also provide them with some pulverized paper to make it into a fluff,
Right.
So, yeah, I just want them to keep coming back because if they see that stuff, okay, we've got resources here. Let's see what kind of bugs he's got in his trees or in his plants and keep eating the insects. That's just how my demented mind works.
The metal black pepper cans. The old metal spice cans from McCormick. Those are great too. And one of the things that when I was working for a construction company and I was running the fuel/lube truck, I went to the local Army surplus store. I picked up a bunch of the old ammo boxes, 50 cal, the 308 and the 220 stuff. Those are great for carrying your tools in.
Yeah, a lot of people use them for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that way I had 2 small ones, 2 of the medium ones, and 4 of the big ones. A lot of the big ones had hydraulic fittings in them. The plugs and stuff. We need to pull off a hose, and so we could plug the hose without losing all the oil till we got it over to a place where we could dump and save the oil. But it's also so that when it went into the place, it wouldn't get all dirty and grungy or whatever. And a lot of the fittings, they would press on and off the fittings, so they would recycle the fittings and just replace the hose.
Yeah.
But we put caps on it to keep the threads from getting dinged up and stuff like that. Yeah, he's like, what's the problem? Okay, I'm going to grab this can and I'm going to grab this can, and just go over to the piece of equipment, climb up on it, and start getting stuff till the real mechanic got there to do the fine tuning work.
Yeah. CRs who was a Tibor mentioned about pieces of leather. CRs made some really creative stuff out of scraps
the draw
like
tie pouch.
Yeah, that's clever, man. That's really, really smart.
Yeah.
Well, that was just from like an old couch or something I found on the side of the road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I've made for the scouts out of the little tins, and I tell them bring in all their dryer lint, and they brought all the dryer lint one evening, and I picked up from the Dollar Tree a jar of Vaseline. Yeah. And I told them, okay, now we're gonna make fire starter, taking the lint and putting a little Vaseline on it and rolling it, make little rolls like, rolling up a little old-fashioned cigarette and just laying those into the tent. That way they pull one of those out, light it up, and the fire is off and running.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's if you got a creative mind and you don't mind redundancy.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bob. Thanks.
If you got a creative mind and you can build to redundancy, you can do anything. Yeah.
Just like, yeah. Do anything like Bob here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bob is the builder here.
All right. My father-in-law took a radio can, a 50 caliber ammo can, and turned it into a radio unit. And so he it had switches on the side, had put the plugs in it, so you could had the all the different plugs, the power pull plugs and the other plugs for connecting up the batteries and stuff. And he used it as a distribution for his other ones. And another one, he had one where he actually took one of the ones to go in a car, like a CB type ham radio, and mounted it inside there, so it was waterproof and everything. Had hooked up an antenna feed out through the side, so he could attach an antenna onto it, and that for search and rescue. And you just take that up there, and you're gonna find some place, set it up, and get it going, and turn it on its side, and that way, you just do stuff to it. It was really great.
I just texted my wife, told her I'm going to Venezuela. We'll see what she does today.
No, text her more. The ticket wasn't that much.
Let me see if I can copy and paste that video into the chat here for the gentleman.
Survival Lily has made Faraday cages out of ammo cans. Yes. The only problem I found out with that is you got to make sure that the rubber gasket is well maintained. Basically, get some glycerin and work the glycerin into the rubber so it doesn't crack.
Yeah, you don't want any gaps.
Yeah, because once it cracks, there's a thing to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. See if I can.
Polyester nylon lint doesn't work very well with ferro rods. It mostly melts. Yeah. Well, see, that's one of the things is I'd let the boys know, in Scouts, it's like, yeah, you can get all these fancy dancy synthetics, but you never see me wearing synthetics. And when we went to synthetics on the Scout shirts, they still had some of the all cotton ones. Well, guess what I bought? I love cotton. I hate synthetics. Because when we would wash the stuff, all the lint is cotton. And that means great fire starter. Of course, you got to have the Vaseline on it to get the cotton to burn. But once the cotton starts burning, it acts like a cotton wick for a candle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fellas, I posted a video of that lady barber in Venezuela in the chat. Yeah.
This reminds me of something now. That I heard about reusing dog hair or cat hair.
For really? People do that?
Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to remember what it was for.
Stink bomb.
I think it was actually weave hair or something like that. It was back into yarn. But I mean, that's definitely an odd way of reusing something.
My wife's hair at one point was down to her belt, and she decided she wanted to cut it off. And so when she went into the place, she said, "Hey," she went with rubber bands. "I want to save it all. I'm donating it to the place that makes wigs for those that for cancer patients." So,
yeah, I knew some people at Boeing who did that every year. Yeah. Well, I got a response from the missus. She said no when I said I'm going to Venezuela. So
now you type back, but I already bought the ticket.
I don't think it's going to happen. It just ain't going to happen.
Not yet. Not yet.
You guys take a look at that video I posted up. She's cute. She is a cute young lady. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I think it takes kind of an artist mind to be able to take a look at some things, everyday objects, and be able to turn them into something that can serve a separate purpose.
And sometimes you got to think outside the box, or outside the box that's outside the box.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Sometimes you got to think outside the box. You got to think under the box.
Okay, outside the room, outside the house. Okay.
Yeah. He's thinking outside the box, down the hall, out the back door, and 3 blocks down is where he's at now.
Hey, Green Granny.
Hey, Green.
Yeah,
but you'd be surprised what you can do. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. You got some fasteners or something. You can just make something happen. Like Bob eventually will, with the brass and the pots and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, on my fuel truck one time,
sometimes you just need
the linkage for the accelerator broke, and I was about 3 blocks away from where I lived, so I'm going home, and I idled it into the driveway there, tipped the front of the truck down, looked at it, climbed in there, and so I just went into the house and had a closet full of the old wire coat hangers. Brought one back out, my Lyman's pliers, clip, measure it, clip, twist, put it in there, twist it again, got me back to the shop. And I called him. I called the shop. Said, hey, I took a picture and texted it to him. Said, this is what broke. I got it jury rigged. I'll be in there. Order the part.
No more wire hangers ever. Do you remember that movie?
Didn't see that movie.
Mummy Dearest.
Oh, Mummy Dearest.
Oh my God! She started beating her daughter because she was using wire coat hangers.
When I went through the police academy, one of the old sergeants was out there, was watching the class, and he stuck around for lunch and stuff. And we got talking about old school stuff, and I heard that they used to use the big old fat phone books because it spread it out. Mm-hmm. He goes, oh yeah, what we always used was get an old wire coat hanger and a piece of garden hose. Put the coat hanger inside the garden hose and it doesn't leave the welts, but it makes them dance.
It's called a pimp stick. That's what it's called. It's a pimp stick. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is what the cops use. Interrogation stick.
That's where they got it. Yeah, it's an ugly topic, but
I never found a problem with cotton and static. It's always with the synthetics that generate static for me. I'm working on some stuff with my nephew, and he has all synthetic stuff on, and we're working on stuff, and he reaches over and zap, and he goes, dang, how did I get that? Because you're wearing synthetics.
Yeah, we use.
You guys are giving me ideas. I'm getting ideas here.
Yeah.
Especially with the coat hanger now.
When we're installing sensitive instruments into the aircraft, we wore those wrist ground straps. Yeah. Requirement, FAA requirement.
Yeah. All right, here's one for you. Let me see if I move my camera here and show and see if you can pick out what I did here. Right there. And there's another one down there. If you go to the store and you buy a case of canned food, and they're usually in the little small ones, and those things are great little trays for putting stuff in.
I used one earlier.
And then of course,
I'm actually doing the exact same thing.
the plastic one right there was something that we, someone was throwing out a bunch of those trays and stuff, and grabbed a couple of them. I just stack all my I keep all my batteries in there, and it's easy to work with.
Can I just add in something that reminds me of something? As I'm getting really interested in this. See, with the boxes, what I learned a long time ago is that if you have like 2 or 3 of the same box, you can actually make a subdivider on the inside box by cutting like the second box in quarters. And then you just invert the corners into the center.
Right.
So you can make 4 compartments from a box because they're same size. If you know what I mean. So, I mean, you can adapt that to like thirds or whatever, right? I mean, it's just
Well, what you just said made me think of something else. My mom was an avid photographer, and she was, she used 35 millimeter, and she went through rolls and rolls, and she'd get shoe boxes, and when it came back from either like Lucky's or wherever she dropped off it to be developed at, it's in a little bag and stuff with all the pictures in there and stuff. She'd stand them up in the shoebox, so it's like a little mini file drawer. And she'd go through and just pick it. Oh, this is the envelope I want to pull pictures out of. She had literally hundreds of shoeboxes full of pictures. And on the front of the shoebox, she'd write 1971, January and February. 1971, March and April. Go through it, or and there were a couple of them where it's like 1 month, and one whole box was 1 month. Going to Disneyland with the grandkids.
That reminds me of something now. Like Marfa did about this seed organizer. You probably could do a similar thing with the shoebox.
I'm gonna have to bounce down, guys. I got a few things I got to finish up here. We just got started on a couple.
Take care, Bob.
All right, thanks for coming up, Bob.
All right, later, guys. Peace out.
Yeah, and if anybody's not subscribed to Bob, check out his channel, and he's got some great stuff there. Plastic display bin boxes are great, because they're made to deal with idiots in the store, And I don't know how many literally bags of film cartridges my mom had. The paper bags, the big grocery store paper bags. She had like about 2 or 3 dozen of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Old fountain. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different things, to make stuff out of, recycle stuff. But if you go back to some bigger stuff, the egg carton crates, they showed there with storage for yarn and stuff. Shoes. My mom used them for storing shoes in, and there's a lot of different things. You look at something and think, what can you use it for?
Oh, that reminds me of, Gil? That reminds me. It is possible because I have one right next to me, if I remember right. You can actually make it so one milk crate can actually have an internal shelf too.
Yeah.
And divide the space up.
Yeah. You can, if you get a piece of wood and you get it cut so it just fits in there, once it's in there, you can put some screws in there, and the screws don't have to go all the way in, just enough so it sits on the triangle parts of it. And if you do it right, if you can tip it up just right, it'll come back out. You move it up and set it down for the next one, so you can adjust your height on it.
Just like in commercial ones, you would see those little what's that called again? The little spokes that come out, right? And you just put the shelf on top of it.
Yeah.
It just sits there. Yeah, same thing.
Oh, I'm just looking around for some stuff
Dowels.
I've done
That's it.
here.
That's it. I think dowels. So
Yeah, dowels. Yeah, dowels work great.
Yes.
And if you get hold of a bunch of dowels, you can actually notch them so they'll sit in there and they won't slide out sideways, and it gives you a little bit better safety support on it. Old socks.
Old socks. Well, you can.
My mother-in-law would take old socks and cut the crew socks with the elastic going up the top and stuff. Cut it off just before the heel, and sew them together. And then she would load it with kitty litter and sew the ends shut, and use those as a weather stop to keep cold breezes from coming in and out. And sometimes she'd just make a short one, and she would for the doors wouldn't stay open between rooms. She'd open it, just drop it there, and it'd keep the door from blowing back closed.
That's interesting.
And of course, I took a couple of them, filled them full of sand, and then sewed it up and used it as to take to the gun range, pile a couple of them up there, rest my rifle on it. Got a plastic candy cane display bucket from Walgreens when they wanted to toss it. Keep my toilet plunger. Yeah. Perfect. One of those little buckets in candy cane. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that reminds me of something too. Because Caleb, you remind me of the laundry detergent and putting sand or cat litter in it. Like if you were done putting it in your vehicle or something like that. Versus like an ice cream tub, which is wider, but laundry detergent thing has a handle. Which is nice.
Hey Don, how's it going? I missed this one. Yeah, we used to use old inner tubes for gaskets for air valves and stuff. You have your 2-part air valves and stuff. So you have your body, and there's a gasket there's like a gasket between it and the controller above it. And so we get a leak out of the ones that because my dad would get these that they replace these air valves at his work every year. They're going 11 months out of the year. They're working, and they shut down 1 month in the summertime, and they go through and they do pull all worn air cylinders, the air valves, and they have a chart say, all right, this month we're taking out these, and they take them out, and the next year they take out another set. And so he'd get those. They were going to throw them away. He'd get them, bring them home. And my brother and I spent, evenings, watching TV and cutting new gaskets for these things that started to leak. Worked great.
Yeah, it's starting to remind me of the bicycle inner tubes now.
I turned old socks into pet toys. Uncle Al turns them into puppets. Everybody see Uncle Al's sock puppets that he's tucking in there. Yeah, catnip it and drive the cats crazy. Mix the catnip with some kitty litter so it can't, it's heavy and they can't just drag it away easy. Make them work for that kitty litter. Mm-hmm. My mom had so many of those big metal tins, about that big around and about that thick, that had all sorts of sewing stuff in there. Oh, okay. Hang on to your hats, folks. It's CB.
Hi.
There's the one for you.
Yes. Hi, CB.
Yeah, there is just there. You think about it. You can do stuff that's always artsy and stuff and crafty. And you can do a lot of stuff. Oh, my mom. Back in the 70s when Zodiac stuff was all the rage, there was a creek not far from our house, and she'd have us go up there and find all rounded stones that are not round but are about like that thick, but about shaped like that, so they're kind of flat, so she had a flat painting surface on it. She would glue a piece of felt on the bottom. She'd paint them first, glue a piece of felt on the bottom, and then she would paint the different zodiac symbols on there. And she at first she just made a bunch of them to give to all my cousins and second cousins. She made all of them for Christmas presents one time. And then one of her cousins, it was a Joy or was it Barbara? I think it was Barbara. Said, hey, make some more. We can sell them. And she sold a bunch of them doing that. Enough to pay for all the paint and everything else. Hey, Star, how's it going? Star, check your email. I sent you an email today, and your team captain sent you an email previously.
Hi, Star.
Yeah, Q sent you an email. All right. But yeah, there's all sorts of pretty things you do with the rocks. And hang on a second. Let me see if I sent my wife a picture, but I can't remember what it is. I'm going to look up. It was really cute. And she goes, she didn't have the see, images. Okay, here we go. People are painting rocks to look like everything. But there was one, it was a brick. There was a brick that was painted. And she goes, she doesn't have the time to, she doesn't have the patience that she can do this type stuff, but not the way that brick was painted. Let's see, painted, bricks. Oh yeah, it was a book. That's right. It was painted as a book. But here's just bricks painted to look like different things. People are selling $69 for 3 bricks. 45 for 2 bricks.
That's a heavy amount.
Yeah. Oops. Didn't want to do that one. But single brick for sunflower, $25. But can't see the other one. All right. Let me see if I can get this to do right here. BRI brick painted like a book. Yes. So these are this one of the it's kind of counted is the Cat in the Hat is a big old flat thing. There's one of the Bible. But these are all bricks. Look at it. That's a brick. These are all bricks. And look at the edge and how they painted to look like the paper and stuff in there.
Oh wow.
There's a side hustle for someone who wants to do that. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So let's see here. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool ones. Yeah. So I mean, you got thick bricks, thin bricks. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and there's a recycling. And now, Star, are you checking the one that's Star Homestead India at Gmail? Because that's the one I have off your that I got from you, and I sent an email to you on it, and I copied Q on there. Yeah. All right, Star, send me an email to Camppatton Family Compound, and I'll send the stuff back to make sure we're connecting up right. And so, all sorts of different things, different ideas. This was the one. There we go. This is the one that I sent my wife. Look at that. Looks like an old worn out book. And my wife goes, oh, heck no, don't have the patience to do that. But yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do. And people that want to be artsy, if you make it, you take it to the craft fair, You'll sell stuff. Thanks, Kaylin. You forgot the M on the end there, but it works. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Yeah, because the emails I've been sending you, Star, haven't been getting bounced back. And usually if it goes to a dead account, it bounces back. .com. Yeah, it's gmail.com. So anyway, so those are some of the ideas there. My dad
yes, I have more ideas.
Yeah, my dad used to take old bandsaw blades. I mean the big bandsaw blades, where the blades were about like that thick and about that wide. Big lumber mill ones and stuff. And where they go like over a 10-foot diameter wheel at the top and 10-foot diameter wheel at the bottom. And he would take those when he got a bunch of them. And I guess one of the guys at work would bring them in. He'd cut them up at night when they're totally bored, had nothing to do. Everybody's standing around picking their nose because they're just on standby in case something breaks down. And he would make a bunch of them, and he would make gasket scrape, cut them, bevel the edge and sharpen up, make gasket scrapers out of them. He's actually made knives out of them. Hey, it's a bandsaw blade. It's meant to be sharpened. And yeah, he made a lot of stuff out of those bandsaw blades for the guys at work. All right.
I've actually made some saws before too.
All right, that's a different email than the one you gave us. All right, because the one you gave us is, and I'll just reply to it and I'll put it in there for you. Okay, and I'm going to put, and then there also I'm putting in there as well Q's email as well. There we go. All right, so at Star, you now have Q's email, and now I have your other one there. Yeah, because we sent it to the email for your channel, and your channel email is the Star India. Yeah. Yeah, we sent to that email because that's the email we have. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, that's the only email we have.
I swear I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Gil, was like, like I said earlier, and when you have the tools, you can do a lot more. I mean, like, that's with that saw, like, just being able to cut material, whatever it is, metal, plastic, whatever, nice in the shape that you want or whatever, you can start doing so much more.
Hey, it's cheap.
Then you have fasteners,
and I use the snot out of these for doing stuff.
Ooh.
And there's the little woodworking tools. We used to get a bunch of those for scout camp because we had scouts go to get the wood carving merit badge, and they tried to come up there. It's like, there you go, $2. Okay. All right, so Star, as soon as you can, send Q your weight from Sunday for the start of the weight loss challenge. Okay. Yeah, metal files make wicked tools. What was the show? The blacksmith show.
Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire, yes. They gave them, the one time I remember, they gave them railroad spikes, a file, and something else to forge together to make a knife. And some of those knives were, that they actually got them to sharpen up, were hellaciously sharp. Pardon my French.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Oh, okay. Hang on a sec. I gotta get this one up here. I gotta put the. If I say it, you guys aren't gonna believe me. Okay. Propane tank turned into a smoker. These are all the big propane tanks.
Make sure the propane tank's empty before you try it.
Actually, what you do is you take it off, and once it's empty, you fill it full of water before you make your first cut.
Oh yeah, make sure.
I had one of the guys at the shop. He filled one full of water, went up there and took the plasma cutter and cut it, and he rolled it as it did it. And as air went in there, all you had was just smell that had absorbed into the inside of the metal there for a little bit, and all the gas was gone. And he just made sure and cut it, and boom, there it was. Made some cool ones.
That reminds me of the 55-gallon drums now.
Yeah. Actually, I got a kit for from Northern Tool, I think I got it from, to turn 55-gallon drums into a shop wood stove. But yeah, there's all sorts of ones. These are all the big propane tank. There's the small propane tank starting to work on it. So they're starting to do cutting on it. But yeah, you can do a lot of things with those. They're supposed to hold a certain amount of pressure, and the shop foreman got hold of one of them and emptied it all out, put a bunch of sand in it, and just we had a couple of parts runners who were doing nothing for a while sometimes, and he had him push it around the back of the shop, and the sand just polished the inside of it and got rid of all of the propane smell from it. And once he had it all cleaned out and everything, he turned it into just an air compressor tank. Okay, here's
so
a small,
it's just like
small one. The guy took two of the tanks, cut them in half, and welded them together.
Oh yeah, kind of like the stove.
Yeah. So, but yeah, here's one they just left the end on. It just did the. So yeah, redneck grill. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with propane tanks. All right. That's what I was going to say. As stupid kids, teenagers, we found some what we thought was water pipe at the time. Then we realized this ain't water pipe. This is like hydraulic pipe, 1/2-inch pipe threaded, but it was like schedule 160. It wasn't schedule 40. It wasn't schedule 80. It was so thick that a 0.45 caliber ball bearing barely fit down inside of it. And we took that, and we found a couple pieces of the super heavy duty, same size 90s and 45s. Well, we kind of put it together, welded it up and everything else, welded one in shut, screwed it into the 90, made a little bracket for it, drilled a little hole in the top, a breech hole, and turned it into a muzzle loader. Using match heads. And so we get all the match heads down in there, and you put a piece of thin sheet material in there with Vaseline on it, and push that all the way down against the match heads. Then we'd pound the 45 caliber ball bearing down in there, and then we'd scrape some match heads off on the hole, and then we would tape several paper matches, take them apart, and just line it up and tape them on there, and put it in its little mount, and we'd fire it off. Touch a match to the far side, go get to it, and go boom. Well, we were signed up with 4 packs of matches loaded in there. Firing that, it went through 18 inches of sheetrock. We had a bunch of sheetrock. They were doing construction next door, and they had all this sheetrock they were throwing away. We were grabbing pieces. Went through 18 inches of sheetrock. Yeah. Like I said, stupid kids. We're 14, 15 years old at the time. Just smart enough to be dangerous.
Just smart enough.
Yeah. And my cousin forgot to basically when we were doing it, we put half a pack of matches in there, gently tapped down with a wooden stick to pack it in the end, and every half pack of matches, well, he just dumped them all in there and started packing down on it, put the ball in there, tried touching off, and because he didn't pack all the way down on it, it wasn't igniting him. So he's there, puts the rod in there, and he started pounding on it to try to pack it up in there. And because he didn't use the Vaseline patch in there, and the ball pinched and did just right, and it ignited it from the other end, and it just shot up out of his hands. We never did find it. We had an 1.25 acre property we were on, and the stuff next door up to us was part of what used to be the Dollar Estate and Turkey Hatchery, and they were just grading that portion of it. And we checked everywhere. We checked across the street and the people's properties across. We couldn't find that thing anywhere. It had to go a good 100 yards across the street somewhere or more. Sorry, I ain't spending $160 plus tax on a bell. I'm going to fill that sucker full of propane, and I am going to keep it out there in the shop for A, emergency heat, B, emergency fuel for the tri-fuel generator. Yeah, the only way left to mark is when it went off out the breech hole, it shot a stream of gas into his hand a little bit as it went by. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with different things to make different things. Hey, you can get an old Army truck and turn it into a cool evac vehicle. Hey, Moon, how's it going? Let's see. What else? Just looking around to see some of the stuff I've tweaked and done things with that are worth mentioning. Oh.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah. Old lamps.
I mean, not even. Yeah.
With old lamps, we did a lot of things with old lamps for our haunted house. When we needed to get, take the lamp apart, so we had the part that the bulb screws in with a switch on it, and we take that and we made and it'd have the bracket that goes up and around that the lampshade would hang on. Well, we'd make it so we could mount that in one of the trees and have it where it had a little mini spotlight and be aiming in the right direction. We did a lot of cool stuff like that. I took old air cylinders, metal brackets, pieces of wood, styrofoam heads for wigs and stuff, and old clothes, and I made old pieces of PVC pipe. I made one of the scariest things for a haunted house. It would look like a coffin. They'd walk up to it. The coffin would open up, and in there was a body, and you look, the clothes were rotting around, and you saw the PVC pipe was bent and stuff, so it looked like ribs and stuff, and styrofoam head. And then I got an old electric motor from a windshield wiper motor and mounted it up in the neck of it, and so that sucker would sit up and go.
I could just see that.
Yeah. A couple times I noticed people leaving that area had wet pants.
Did it rain?
Yeah, it rained from the waist down. It was,
That's priceless. That's like worth it. Just to see that.
yeah. Do not play with matches for stuff. They also made my brother and the same cousin the year before took matches, scraped paper matches, and scraped off the stuff off of them, and had the old style CO2 cartridges that had the crimp on fitting on it. And we used to take those CO2 cartridges. We had a piece of angle iron with a hole drilled in it. We'd stick it in there and just tap it with a hammer, and we'd pop the cap off and go across the parking lot. Well, they took one of those, loaded it full of the match head stuff, taped a small piece of hard broom straw to it, and put some feathers on the end of it. Stuck the fuse from a firecracker up in there, and set it up to set it off. And I said, "You guys test it to see what that's going to do?" They had a second one set up, and when they put in one of those old little metal kids' tool boxes, metal boxes, lit it off, tossed it in there. It blew right out the side of it and wrapped the side of our tree fort. Yeah. So for those of you looking for Mad Max, you want a couple of ideas, contact me at donotdothis.com. And
I'm not affiliated with that.
or at youareastupidIdiot@gmail.com. And we used to make as kids. I mean, kids when I was a kid used to bring so much more for inventive stuff than kids nowadays do. Kids nowadays don't bother me. I'm trying to win this game here. I can't think outside the box. Yeah, we had to build our own stuff to have fun. We couldn't download it.
Mm-hmm. I know, we had to make our own fun back in the time.
Oh yeah. We modified bikes with all sorts of crap. We found old shopping carts. We'd find an old shopping cart in the creek and chop it up and work on our bikes and turn it into some chopper or something. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you can go out there and make really cool things out of, and some really dangerous things if you're not smart. Yeah. And repurpose things for like you wouldn't believe, for a lot of cool things. One of the things my brother did, he got hold of this. I'm not sure what it was for. Basically, it had like a drill motor on it, and it had where you could pump water through it to go into whatever you're drilling on. Well, he tweaked it around, worked on it, and got the threads were not water pipe threads or garden hose threads. They were some other type of machine thread. And he got it and stuff, was working on, had everything but to connect it together. Finally took it to my dad and said, "Hey, I need to make this onto water pipe thread." My dad took it to work, came back with a little adapter. But he made it so, and he had 3/4 inch pipe in a couple 5-foot lengths and a couple 10-foot lengths. And then my dad made this 3-pointed bit for it where the water would shoot coming out of it. And he started using that when he needed to go underneath the driveway to put sprinkler lines in. He'd dig the trench where he was going to lay the water pipe going up to it, drop that in there, put the garden hose on, and drill a hole right underneath the cement slab, and then put a cap on the PVC pipe and just shove that right on through. And that way you got sprinklers to the other side of a lot of people's driveways where it would normally have been inaccessible. That and a whole lot more. A whole lot more.
Oh,
Hey,
tell.
I got put in charge of making plans for dealing with this crap. We incorporated put it up here. We incorporated sticks and rocks into something we played with. Yeah, stickball and stuff. We also took the BB guns we had and made ourselves outfits so we could have BB gun wars. And this was back in 1968, before airsoft was invented. We invented hard soft, not airsoft, air hard, not airsoft. Yeah, we actually shot BBs at each other. We had, got a hold of some old motorcycle helmets and face shields and upgraded the plexiglass and, padded moving blanket pads wrapped up all these, yeah. Oh, we had fun. But, back to candles. A lot of old jars and stuff make, jars and stuff, colored jars and stuff make great candles. You just fill it up and, you pour the wax in there. You got it. But these type candles will need thick wicks, not the little thin wicks you get in most candles nowadays. You can actually buy this stuff on Amazon, the thicker wicks. Now, we found a couple times, we couldn't do that. We just take the paper candles, break all the wax up to melt it down, and then braid 3 of the wicks together to make a proper size wicks to make a good bright candle in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow I know made some small. Yeah. Hey, does everybody remember the 1957 Chevy and the 1957 Ford? Yeah. That my mom bought one the year I was born. It's a Chevy Bel Air. Yeah. Fortunately for that stuff, the statute of limitations is long gone 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, but my sister was born a couple of years after World War II. Yeah. Well, okay. I've been up for an hour and a half. We've covered a lot of stuff to do things with. Anybody have any tractors? And fields where they got to plow and do stuff? There's an attachment called a harrow. And let's see if I can bring it up here. Okay, here we go. So there's one of the harrows. And let me go to like that, okay? And it's, after they disc, they drag that through and it breaks up the clumps after they disc and stuff. I made, and here's a harrow with some other spikes in it. So I made something similar to this out of railroad ties. Had a couple of railroad ties laying on the property next door. It's like, okay, there was some chain link fence, perfect. So I nailed the chain link fence down to the railroad ties, flipped it over so it's on the bottom, and took some chain, bolted it to the railroad tie to the back of my tractor, and I just drug it around and would smooth stuff out. And yeah, so that's something you can old railroad ties, old piece of chain link fence. Actually, I stole that idea from my brother. My brother had had one railroad tie, a 6-foot long piece of chain link fence, and a pipe through it, and towed it behind his pickup around the baseball diamond to level it out when they go to use the city baseball field, because the city never maintained it, and you get pits and dumps. Have somebody out there playing in the mud, and you have all these footprints from the mud left over afterwards. Made those to drag moss from the ponds. Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Okay, let me get one thing up over here real quick and take care of that. And get the, where is it coming? Bring it up here. Okay. All right. So Monday here on Camppatton Family Compound we're going to talk a little bit about the weight challenge. Get the hopefully we'll get everybody's weigh in for the second week weigh in on Sunday to their team captains. And then, hey, Mary Beth, how's it going?
Hi, Mary Beth.
And then we will go. Then we'll move on to other things, probably talking gardening stuff and whatever comes up. Tuesday on Tactical Tuesday is an important one for everybody that has or knows anybody that has a person with any type of disability in their family. The topic is prepping for family members with disabilities, and we're going to be and hopefully I will get a lot those people that are doing this already in the side chat. I've been emailing some and stuff, so hopefully we'll get them all in there, and we'll get a lot of input from the side chat. And I'm trying to find some of my old documents about preparedness for disabilities from Homeland Security that I wrote. So because they're not classified, they were made for the public. So if I can find it on my backup hard drives here, I'll have some of that information as well. Next Thursday, as always, is the Midnight Ride, starting at 11:55 p.m. Thursday night Eastern Time. And then next Friday here, favorite versus most used garden tool. Your favorite versus most used. Because sometimes your most used is not your favorite. So that's what we're going to be talking about next Friday here, getting ready for the gardening season.
Okay.
All righty. Everyone, thank you for coming in. Thank you, CR, for coming in. If you're not subscribed,
Thanks for having me on.
If you're not subscribed to CR, check him out. Type something in the side chat so they can go to your channel.
Well, I can't at the moment. I typed in earlier.
Okay.
Maybe our nice friends here will drop my link down. That'd be nice. Yeah.
If one of the wrenches here could throw CR's link down, and while you're at it, throw down Bob's link as well, Bob942. And check these guys out. Check out the other ones. Kaylin on Sunday will have MRE review. Canadian has some good videos over on his. So, all right. Now, you wave. Now you can go to bed.
Wave.
And Suburban Hillbilly has stuff. And, Moon Over Miami has stuff. Star has videos and everything else. So check them out. And so we'll see you for sure on Monday for my channel if I don't catch you on somebody else's before then. And thank you all, and have a good night. And
take care.
Take care. And we'll see you later.